would you say there is somehow an objective dimension or place that you go to? Objective being that other people can visit it, it's not so exclusively yours.
Yeah. Proof. That's a little bit of a difficult one. Even if you just forget about ayahuasca for a second and you just think about ordinary perception, the ordinary world that we see, for example, what science tells us is that what we actually see is an image of the outside world concocted inside our skull by our brain. That's what it tells us. It doesn't actually know how it happens. But the screen on which you see the outside reality is in your head. So everything you can know, your consciousness, your experience of the world, is actually inside your head and subjective, but somehow it seems to correspond to the outside objective reality that people can verify. And obviously it seems clear that this table is outside my head. And I think the test of that one is if you hit somebody over the head with a stick, it actually hurts. So the stick is not just inside your head. So we're dealing with something difficult here. We're using our heads to try to understand how our head understands reality. Meanwhile, what happens with ayahuasca visions is even more mysterious, because to start with, there is no known objective input. Here you have a known objective input of photons bouncing off the thing, hitting the retina, and then becoming electrochemical information in the brain. That's somewhat understood. Just how those ayahuasca visions come onto the inner screen of consciousness is a profound mystery. I think at this point it's good to, instead of speculating, I think it's important to be able to sit with the mystery and say, this we don't understand for the moment. Is there actually an objective, I wouldn't call it objective, that seems to be a bit of a loaded word, but let's just say an independent realm that one somehow reaches with one's modified consciousness? Yes, would say Benny Shannon, who has been making a map of it. What is so surprising about ayahuasca visions is that you can take a rainforest Indian or a lawyer from Rio de Janeiro, and what they see has astonishing coherence. And it does not seem to be related to the person's previous history or whatever. He says that his decades worth of research has turned him from a materialist atheist into a Platonic thinker. In other words, Plato said the realm of ideas has an independent existence. And so, yes, it would seem from research conducted on this question that the realm of ayahuasca has an independent existence, even if this flies in the face of materialist philosophy.
Thank you, Arno.
Come back to me. I would also agree, that we know very little, and still there's a lot of information out there that we need to learn. Especially something that relates, what you said, to this new agent view coming, and quantum physics coming with new explanations of reality, etc. But what I want to ask is, the scientists that went to forest, 3 scientists you said, right? So they were the first 3 that tried to acquire information. Can you tell us a little bit what did they extract something? Okay. And one more thing to add. I think they were not surely the first 3 accessing the knowledge from these visions. Because I remember some physicists saying that I forgot the name of American physicist who was working on making atomic bomb, and he was saying that he acquired a lot of information from yogic people who went in deep trance and explaining how the atom works, etc. So I think they were not the first 3, but anyway, can you tell us what they do?
No, actually, there's a long history in science of scientists daydreaming or having dreams or in defocalized states of consciousness coming on fundamental realizations and discoveries. The three scientists I was talking about, they were the first to test the hypothesis that I presented about ayahuasca. In other words, deliberately using ayahuasca orchestrated by an indigenous shaman to look for biomolecular information. So these were molecular biologists, not quantum physicists. They weren't working on bombs, nothing. So, we're looking at proteins, DNA molecules, cell function. Just to give you a couple of brief examples, I've actually written a detailed account of this. I think that if you Google scientists and shamans and my name, you can come upon it on the internet. I just report on what the scientists themselves say, but I'll give you a brief feeling. One of these scientists was a man who had been looking for a male contraceptive. And he was trying to understand, because actually when a sperm cell comes into the sperm canal or epididymis, it is incapable of fertilizing an ovum. And as it goes through the sperm canal, 50 different proteins work on it. And in such a way that when it reaches the other end, it's capable of fertilizing the ovum. So he wanted to know which one of the 50 proteins is responsible for this. Why it was that they've been looking for so long to find the answer. Was this forbidden knowledge? Talking about the transmission of life. And finally, he wanted to know if the mouse was the appropriate model in which to study this for human beings. So in his one of his ayahuasca sessions, he received 3 quick and clear answers to these questions. The first question was, it is not one single protein that is responsible, but it is all 50 together. The second question, see my first answer. Why have we been looking for so long without finding the answer? Because you were focusing on one single instead of on the orchestra of the whole. And the third question regarding whether the mouse is the appropriate model or not, this question is too small for me, you figure it out. So those are the answers that he received. And the other, one of the other scientists, it was a gene detective. In other words, she was working for a genomics company in California, sequencing the human genome and trying to discover where the genes were in the long DNA text. And I mean, science tends to focus on these pretty narrow things. So she was focusing on CPG islands. These are DNA sequences rich in C and G. And 60% of human genes have CPG islands just above where the gene starts. And she was wanting to know what these sequences are used for. And she had a vision of herself as a transcription enzyme zooming above the DNA molecule. And she understood that CPG islands function as landing pads for transcription enzymes. And she also wanted to know whether the CPG islands all had the same structure, and she saw that they did. She also said that this concept had never come into her mind before she took the ayahuasca. So these are the kinds of insights or new ideas that we can gain. And it is like a reverse angle. You spend years in your lab, and then you leave the lab and you zoom above the DNA from another angle.
What would be your personal definition?
So the personal definition of consciousness, well, I was saying I wrote a book called Intelligence in Nature. I deliberately avoided using the word consciousness in that book because I think that each word is important and one has to pay attention to each word. Intelligence itself, I won't get into it now, but it's a deeply problematic concept. It's been defined in exclusively human terms. has been considered to be a human